has changed his mind about me. Like, our marriage is, like, done. Like, you can stick around and you can come visit me and Robin and the kids if you want, but we're never going to have a marriage relationship anymore.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, October 26, 2023. Meri Brown announces that Kody has told her very cruelly that he doesn't want to be married to her anymore. And this happens when she calls him up on her anniversary. So timeline would be April 2022. Meri calls Kody and lets him know happy anniversary, and then he drops a bomb on her, which she discussed in the tell-all last year, where she said that she had a conversation with Kody about how he didn't want to be married to her anymore, but then he put her into a predicament by basically telling her, well, you know, I don't want to do this. You can come visit, but I don't want to talk about it publicly. Meri was frustrated by this, and at the tell-all was kind of like elusive about what she was going to do. And Meri had said in an interview with People magazine that she and Kody had never had conversations face-to-face or even on the phone about their relationship, that he was saying things in interviews on the show, but never to her face. And because the show is literally a show about sister wives and it's on TLC, it's, you know, we know that this family lies. They lie about just about everything. So the clip is kind of a dive into what Meri finds out from Kody about her marriage and what her thoughts are about her marriage and really what she thought when she got married to him and what it means to be married in a celestial marriage and what it would mean for her to spend her eternity with him. And it sounds like Meri is not wanting to spend eternity with a man that is as cruel and unusual and mean as Kody. So let's dive into the topic. Before we do, could you please give this video a thumbs up? Please subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button and make sure to turn your notifications on. There is exaltation. What is exaltation? It's the highest level of celestial marriage. And in polygamy, you can become exalted and be like a king and a queen by having 3 or more wives and allowing yourself to be a plural wife if you're a woman. You can't get into heaven or become exalted without a man. Meri Brown, in order to leave this belief system and the status of being an exalted highest level in the celestial kingdom, you know, if you're growing up your whole life and you find out you're going to be superior like that, I mean, that's a hard thing to give up if you really believe it. But she dives into giving him a call, and she also talks about their marriage and the details of it. So let's start here.
In our religious background, and when he and I got married, we married with the intention of forever. Literally was an eternal covenant. And I feel like that he's like, well, I'm just not interested. You can stick around if you want. But I'm like, but why would I want to do that eternally? Be with somebody who really just has changed his mind about me.
So this has always been my question on the show is, why would you want to spend eternity with a man that doesn't like you? Like, why would you want to be up in the celestial kingdom and with a man for the eternity? So they believe that they go to heaven, and then after you die, you're with your family, your whole family, for the rest of your lives, for the rest of eternity. The covenant is a sealing that happens in their temple. That their temple would have been the Apostolic United Brethren's temple. They have temples in their church, different than the LDS temples. And she's saying, well, I believed I was having an eternal covenant, but now he's decided that he doesn't want to. He wants her to wait around. Because why? Because he doesn't get that eternity if more and more of his wives leave. He needs at least 3 to stick around and just hang on and just pretend they're married to him and be remaining in their sealed covenant. And for a woman, that means, well, we're not going to be together, but I can't date anyone. I can't be in another relationship. I can't have companionship. You get to be with your other wives. I get to be alone. How unfair is that? And the women stay often because they think that they're going to lose their place in heaven. But Mary's like, why would I want to stay in this place with a man that doesn't even like me? So I'm kind of liking what she's putting down so far.
Like, our marriage is like done. Like, you can stick around and you can come visit me and Robin and the kids if you want, but we're never going to have a marriage relationship anymore. So I feel like I've always had a pretty good relationship with Robin, and I freaking love her kids. I have every intention to still keep a good relationship with those kids, as long as she and Kody are willing to let me, you know?
So Kody wants her to stick around and just pretend like they're still married, and she can hang out with Robin and the kids and see him sometimes, but they're never going to be in a marriage anymore. Basically, he's saying to her, I'm never going to be intimate with you. We're never going to cuddle, kiss, whatever. And you can spend time with my wife that I do cuddle, kiss, and have intimacy with. You cannot have intimacy with anyone. You cannot cuddle or kiss anyone. But if you still want to see the kids, you can. And she says, I have every intention to remain and have a relationship with those kids if they let me. But the problem is once a woman leaves, the smear campaign will start. You're already seeing the smear campaign right now with Christine. You've got some of her girls turning on her publicly, like Gwendolyn, who is smearing her mom for the likes of her father. This is what happens in polygamy. When a woman leaves, she's wayward, she's wicked, and literally everyone says terrible things about her because the narcissist, which is Kody, is going to make everyone think that he's the victim and that she's the wicked one that can't, be trusted, because they don't want anyone else to see that she left and feel like they can leave too. The problem here is that when she leaves, Robin is going to view her as wicked and evil, and they're going to shun her. And Kody and Robin on the show have said that they don't want to talk to anyone. They don't want to have anything to do with anyone. But what they're not telling the viewers is that they're shunning them. They are literally shunning them because they are no longer falling in line. So Meri knows full well that once she makes the decision to leave, those relationships will get pulled. But you guys know by now that Meri ended her relationship with Robin over disputes that they had about Leon because of Robin and Kody's unacceptance of Leon.
But I said to him, well, why don't we, because our life is public, why don't we just be real open and honest about this, and that we should discuss this, and that we should really be open about our story with this? And he said, no, I don't want to do that. He said, I just have so much criticism. I don't want to be open and vocal about it. Let's just keep this between us.
Kody has put Meri in timeout for 8 years or more. A couple tell-alls ago, she said that she and Kody had not had intimacy in about a decade. That was 2 years ago. So now it's 2 years later. Kody's all, I don't want to be with you. Meri's like, great, that's great. So we're done? Awesome. So can we tell everyone that we're done? Because I'm sure what Meri wants is Meri wants to be able to move on with her life. Kody's made the decision and she's good with it. She's not going to fight it. And when she wants to announce that they're split, he tells her, no, let's just keep this between us. Why? Why would he want her to do that? Why would Kody want someone to lie for him like that? Well, Kody uses all of the women to lie for him. I was speaking to a advocate that ran a now closed nonprofit and in Utah that helped women and children of polygamy. And she told me that men in polygamy utilize their wives, their friends, and their children to lie for them, to propagate a mistruth about polygamy, to protect the man, to protect the headship, regardless of the ramifications or the damage or the pain to the wife or the child, because the wife and the child don't have rights. He is the priest and he is God. And he's asking Meri here to lie for him. And it's a lie, I'm sure, that he's asked Meri to make before. And I'm sure he's had all of the wives over time make this lie for him before, that they're still together when they're not. A lot of people are talking about Janelle and how Janelle, is being wishy-washy and she still believes in plural marriage. And I just want to tell people that, again, someone who knows Janelle told me that in season 6, Janelle told them that all she's doing is stashing money away, and she's putting the money away because she's only staying with Kody for the show. She didn't expect the show to go more than a couple seasons, and she was only going to stay with Kody as long as the show stayed on air. And once the show was over, she would have money put away, she would be able to leave, and she could go on her merry little way. But she was willing to go along with the lie of being in a marriage with Kody for the show, for the money that she would make on the show, because it would give her a way out. Because the wives, under the world of polygamy, all of their money goes to Kody. So for a wife to have money, she has to hide the money from the man. If you want to read books, you should read some books on polygamy and listen to actual wives talk about how the men would show up at their houses, and when they would get their welfare, their Medicaid checks or their food stamps, and the husband would take the money and leave. So the wife is getting money to feed the kids, and because the husband believes the money belongs to him, he takes it. That's what Kody's been doing to these wives for years, these women for years. And now he wants her to continue to lie for him to protect him so that he can have her money, he can have his show, and he doesn't have his reputation be ruined, because he's a narcissist and all he cares about is what people think of him, because he has such a fragile sense of self that he needs to perpetuate the lie so that he can still look good and as good as he believes that he is. It's sick.
I'm not going to go the rest of my life hiding the fact that this is a way that our relationship is, and hiding the fact that you said to me, you don't want to ever have a relationship with me. This is my story too. And I have the right to tell my story.
She's very clear. Kody wanted her to lie for the rest of her life that they were still married. And she would have to pretend like they were still married. Kody wanted her to lie, wanted her to stay single for the rest of her life so that he didn't look bad, so that he looked like he still had a wife, even though publicly he has been smearing this woman for years. He has allowed other wives and other women and children on the show to smear her. He has allowed people to gang up on her and say terrible things about her on the show, in tell-alls, and encouraging it. Last tell-all, the ugliest part of the tell-all, I believe, was when they all got to discuss why they hated Meri. And Janelle, Christine, and Kody all talked about how Meri was just very particular about dish detergent and where things went in the cupboards. Can you imagine your complaints with someone being, I didn't like that she wanted me to use Dawn dish detergent, and I hated that we had to use Tide. What bothered me about when they were doing that on the tell-all was that, one, they didn't give Meri an opportunity to even express why she felt the way that she did. All three of them were piling on Meri, and all of that was enabled by Kody and allowed by TLC. And Meri has been ganged up on like that for years. So much so that people and fans hate her because Christine and Janelle and Kody gang up on her. But what Kody was doing the smear campaign. He was smearing Meri even though she was still in the family, because he knew he could, because he felt like, I can say whatever I want and she's never going to leave me. And he was allowing the other wives to smear her too, because he got off on hurting her. And they're all jealous and they all are fighting for Kody's attention and they want to be close to their God, that this type of backbiting and nastiness is standard. So when people are constantly like, oh, Christine was such a good sister wife, or she's so sweet, I'm like, have you watched older episodes to hear some of the things that she says about Meri or her other sister wives? Kody says that she was a bad sister wife. Maybe. They've all been bad sister wives. But there's no one instigating that more than Kody. Cody's the one that's fueling that discord. And he's enabling it by pitting the women against each other, making them pine for his attention, be jealous and angry. And what's always bothered me about the ganging up on Meri, it was that Meri was the first wife. She was the wife that came into this family first. She was the legal wife. She was Kody's, on paper, who he claimed, who he filed taxes with, who he owned homes with. She had a lot of power and a lot of status in the family. And he was sleeping around with women that in the doctrine are called concubines. And these women are acting like they don't understand why Meri's mad at them. Well, why would she be mad at me? I mean, geez, we're just in this family together. Like, she has no right to be angry with me. I don't know. Maybe because you're sleeping with her husband, her legal husband, and having kids with him. Maybe because he's spending all of his money and his time and his resources on you and she's being neglected. Maybe because she was married to him first and was the legal wife for the longest of all of these women, that she had a right to be angry and bitter and frustrated. None of them see things from the other point of view. We constantly say that Robin doesn't see things from her point of view. Janelle and Christine don't see things from Meri's point of view. They don't see things from Robin's point of view. Robin doesn't see things from their point of view because they're all jealous, because they're all fighting for attention, to be number one, to be seen, to be the most important. Christine would have stayed in this marriage if he would have been still pampering her. If he would have been doting on her, she wouldn't have left. Janelle wouldn't have left if he wouldn't have been a jerk to her kids. They all would have stayed. They're only leaving now because he was so obviously not interested in them. But then they all went along with this grift on the show and lied. They knew they weren't in relationships with him. All of them did. At least Meri is finally having the bandwidth to stand up. I truly believe that of all of the wives, the one that got screwed over most was Meri. And I truly believe of all of the wives, the one that cared the most about her faith was Meri, and cared the most about her eternity and her eternal covenant was Meri. Janelle can say all ways to Tuesday that she believes in her faith. I don't believe it for a second. Janelle wanted to leave Kody, has left Kody multiple times. Janelle is doing this for the show. But I believe that Meri wanted out for a long time, but was loyal to a fault. So I'm glad she's finally waking up. And to hell with him, Meri. You don't need to lie for him anymore, and you get to have a relationship. You don't have to be single. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.